So you mentioned the EPA, the administrative agencies like the CIA and the FBI, and your uncle, John F. Kennedy, expressed desire to, quote, splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scatter it into the winds, unquote. I myself have been raided by the FBI. I'm one of the few, if not the only, journalist in American history to be raided by FBI agents who took my and my colleagues' journalist notes, and the ACLU came to my defense, which is, I think, a good thing. But in terms of these agencies, going back to my question about, was it always this bad? You know, J. Edgar Hoover was the head of the FBI 60 years ago. Was it worse back then? Is it as bad? Is it getting worse now? How would you compare present day to when your uncle was president?
You mean with the enforcement agencies?
Yes.
I think it's more insidious today because of the technologies of control. Back then, back then you had really terrible people running the agency, like Alan Dulles and James Jesus Angleton, Frank Wisner, people who were genuinely murderous and felt like there was no, controls on their behavior. And they started Operation Mockingbird at that point, which was an operation to compromise American journalists. So they had about 400 journalists that we know of. Carl Bernstein wrote an article about Mockingbird around 1975 or 76 in Rolling Stone. And at that point, I think there were some 400 editors, journalists, from all the largest publications. The New York Times had been compromised. The Washington Post was basically...
What do you mean by compromised for people who...
Well, they were functioning, the high-level people at those journals were working for the agency or had, signed secrecy agreements with those agencies, with the CIA. And at CBS, ABC, NBC, high-level journalists. So today, today that's going on. After 75, when it all came out, during the Church Committee hearings, the CIA promised that it would no longer compromise American journalists. It continued the program to compromise journalists all over the world, and today the CIA is the biggest funder of journalism in the world.
And how about present day?
They fund it through USAID. But in 2016, Obama, there's a provision in the CIA charter that says that the CIA cannot propagandize the American people. President Obama adopted and I think it was through an executive order in 2016, that essentially reopened the door for Operation Mockingbird so that the CIA began once again to propagandize American people.
And how are they doing that presently?
Well, I mean, we know that they did it. We've published articles on the CHD website that shows the journals that appear now where high-level intelligence officials are, or people associated with the intelligence industry are running those journals, like Noah Schlachman, who runs Rolling Stone, who came from Daily Beast. Daily Beast was run by John Avalon, who has deep ties to the intelligence agencies. And even journals like Smithsonian and National Geographic, Nature, the Washington Post, the New York Times appear to be compromised by the CIA. We know from the Twitter files that both the FBI and CIA were operating portals within the Twitter and Facebook that allowed them to manipulate information and to deplatform people and to, silence certain people that they didn't like in the social media. So, but the answer to the big answer to your question is, the problem is today that is frightening is that with AI, with, artificial intelligence, and with all of these surveillance, like facial recognition systems, the satellite systems that are now, I think we're going to have 415,000 low altitude satellites where they can look at every square inch of the earth at 24 hours a day. They have technology now that can look through walls and, just surveillance technology. We're all under surveillance. Your GPS, your cell phone is spying on you. We're carrying around these devices that are all spying on us, or all have the capacity to spy on us. And of course they are.
To what end?
What?
To what end?
Well, I mean, the thing that's financing most of this is our commercial and mercantile interests. So you start talking, I mean, I'm sure you've had this experience where you say, I need a better mattress, I can't sleep at night, and then 20 minutes later you get this, a bunch of mattress ads on your cell phone. Well, they're listening to you. And that's kind of innocuous and actually convenient. That they're listening to you and then putting up, solutions
so the
to your
regulatory
problem.
capture.
But the government also is listening to you. And if you're doing something that, if you are doing something that involves dissent or disobedience to government mandates, it's quite possible that there's some government agency that's keeping track of that.
Have you
And that's
experienced-
scary.